Welcome to Mini Bake's channel and come make a mini Christmas retro lights box with me. So someone gifted me some little lights. They are easy to get online, but I thought I'm going to make a nice retro box with them, and I thought I'd share with you how I made it, so come along with me from the beginning process. To kick off, as you've seen a few frames before, I got the image off Pinterest, just a retro Christmas lights box image that someone had taken, and I measured the lights initially so that I could see roughly how big to make each little cubby hole. So I times it by 10 and then got a dimension. I ended up going 4 centimeters by 3. So I went online and got a template for a top and bottom fitting box. I scaled that box to size so that I could put the retro image in, which is 4 by 3. And then for the sides, I just added the red. I used my colour picker in Photoshop and added the red that was already on the box image. For the insert, I decided to have drops for the lights. So what I did was I measured the lights exactly, and I was going to do 10 per row because there's 20 lights. And I decided to make little cut-out sizes of the lights so that I could fit them in the box. And we'll talk about that later. These are the lights, and as you can see, I measured each individual light. I think there was something like 2-3 millimeters. So let's begin assembling and I'll talk it through. So we need a cutting mat, Pritt stick, a scalpel, a ruler, preferably a steel ruler. I didn't have mine with me, scissors, and if you want to use double-sided sticky tape, fabulous. I also have the printout and of course the lights. So we will start by cutting out the box. The image on the left is for the top of the box, and that bit there is a spare. I've just put a spare one of the inserts in case it goes wrong. I might as well use that space on the paper because it'll go to waste otherwise, so I have a spare one. I always put spare images around where I can so that if I make a mistake, it just means I don't have to reprint. And I have one for later if I don't use it this time. So I'm going about cutting all the components out, so I will speed you up a little bit. So this is the insert box. Now, as I say, I measured the lights to size and I drew a little box for 2 rows, worked out how many lights there were, divided it by 2 lines, and I left a little gap in between each one, obviously so that the lights could fit in, and sized them all up next to each other. You need to leave a gap either side as well for when you're folding it into the box. So let's get out and cut all of these out. I do actually prefer to cut very small things by hand rather than use a ruler, just because I find I have more control. And I also find that if I'm doing a lot of little boxes like I am here, I'll just go along the row and do the horizontal lines, and then I'll do the vertical lines. And then I'll pop them all out. Let's take a little bit closer. Now I scored that side, and then I'm going to go out and take the actual inserts out, so some of it stays and some of it goes. I am finding it a little bit hard to explain myself, but as you're watching me, you should be able to gauge what I'm chatting about. So I'm just going to pop all of these out. I'll speed it up. It's quite therapeutical actually. So there we have the finished ones. If only it was as quick as that. I am just taking up to size now and pulling the last bits out. And we're now going to score it and fold the edges so this fits inside the box and it raises it up. So by leaving a margin at the top and bottom and side, it enables you to score and fold each component so then it will sit in the box and give it a 3-dimensional look. So if we just fold these edges in, as you can see, I'll take it a little bit closer up. It's given the box height, so then the lights can sit in the box, and anything that pokes on the other side, the underneath of the box, it's got room to sit nicely. So where I've scored all these edges, I'm going to now fold them over, and then we're going to glue the sides down. Just scoring them edges on the top and the bottom so that I can fold them over and they'll all sit in the box. You probably don't need to do that size as well. You could just do the longer sides and slot them in that way into the box. But this just gives it more leverage on sitting nicely in the box and maintaining, not dipping or anything. I'm just going to trim them little corners off where they meet. And there we have our little raised cavity area for the lights. As you can see, just test for size, it fits because they were measured in advance. So onwards to the outer box, we are going to take the lid. As you can see, I've gone down with the red, and we're going to also cut the bottom out and stick that together. And then we'll assemble the box. So I'm just going to cut all these components out. As I said, I have a spare one of the inserts. We don't need it now, but there could have been a mistake, or I could use it in the future if the other one starts to look tired, or even use it next year when the Christmas decorations come out. So we have the outer part of the lid cut out, but we're going to take these lights out here because we have real lights to show through this, and then we're going to put some cello over the top as well. So I've used a bag that's acquired from somewhere. You can use anything, piece of food, cling film, anything, but I use a cello bag, and I'm just going to go and cut out this insert bit so they show through the box. Now a little tip that you may or may not use. If you have a corner, like you can see here, I'm going around this centre. I'm scoring the first line, but there are some tricky shapes to go around. What I do is I stick, so I find a point where I can turn it, and I will stick my scalpel right into the cutting mat and just literally swivel, so we get a good clean cut of things that are shaped. I just find that so much easier. And take your time, because we want it to look special, don't we? So here I am, just finishing off cutting out the rest of the box, making sure I've got as much as possible so it's nice and neat, and we'll be ready to pop that out. There, it should just come out nice and easy. There it is. And I also then just go around with a scalpel and tidy up any little stray bits that don't look perfect. And there's the finished outer side of the box. Now we need to assemble it and put the cello wrap over the hole to protect it. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off the bag, slightly bigger than I need, because it's better to have too much and then trim it down. So I'll gauge the size. I would do it usually by hand, but because we need to overlap to prick the edges and make sure that there is enough to cover the gap and leave excess, as you can see there, it goes over a few mils all the way around. I'm just tidying that up, and then we'll literally put some Pritt stick on the edges and stick that down to the paper. Where I'm being particular again, obviously. I'm never happy until it's particular. So there we go. I'm just going to prick the edges. You could use other glue. I just find Pritt stick the best. I don't know why, just get along with it better than anything else. So overlay that there and make sure it's stuck down nice, and leave it to one side for it to fully dry, and we can get on with the base. Just press it down there. Got to give it a little tidy up, of course, because that is what I'm like. So we leave that to one side and do the base, so we ensure that the cello dries to the card. And I'm just going to cut the base out and then we will speed you up. Apologies, I've gone off camera there. I just sometimes don't know how that happens, but it does. But I'm getting my head around these long form YouTube, so you'll just have to bear with me. So to enable to get the box to be 3D, we need to score these edges. So these need to actually be not scored, they need to be cut out, and then the inside bits need to be scored. That's so that we can fold the box, but then the bits that we cut through entirely are going to form the box edges. I'm so bad at explaining myself, forgive me. It's really hard to articulate what you're doing because I'm kind of making it up as I go along. But you'll see when I put it together in the video. So all these inner bits are just scored, very lightly run over, don't go too hard, otherwise you get a cut in the box. So there it's done, and as you can see the bits I've cut off. Now you'll get what I'm talking about. They turn and stick down to the inside of the box to enable the 3D shape to pop in. So once we get these corners done, these edges done, I will show you what I am chatting about, because again I might not be making sense. There, so they fold inwards, the bits that you cut, and then the bits that you score then go over the top to make the box. Clever, isn't it? So simple but so effective. So now we need to stick these down. There is the finished base. And let's grab that insert from before. So there you can see they all come together and they have height to enable you to dip the lids down, the lights down into the little cubby holes, the little cavities, and they can sit nicely so they don't move around. This is what I mean. It's all coming together, guys. Thank you for bearing with me if you're still here. Do give me some love in the comments. Okay, so let's get on with the lid. So we're going to score all of the back of these so that we can get a nice clean fold. I always recommend scoring. I score the back, not the front. I just find it makes it a lot cleaner and doesn't show the white. From if you score it at the front, it tends to cut through the print. So I like to score it from behind, just very gently, because you don't want to cut through that. You just want to enable a nice clean fold in the right place as well. It helps navigate exactly where the fold is meant to be. So we're just going to go around and score all of that. There you can see, just very lightly into the paper, and we're going to fold it together. I'm going to go around and do all of them. Then the white tab edges, we're literally going to print them again, and we're going to seal and stick them down. You can use double-sided sticky tape. I just find it easier to use Prit. I do use double-sided sticky tape if the card is thicker. I use both, but in this instance I'm getting away with Prit. And there's the box lid, looking kinda sassy. I'm going to trim these edge bits off just so that they fit nicely. We don't need them anymore, so off they will come. just checking it all fits together, and it does fit together nicely, so we can now put our lights in. I took the insert out first just to bring the thread of the light. You could stick that down if you wanted to. I'm going to shoot a video with a naughty elf, so I'm going to leave mine loose so it can be pulled. And then we're just going to go about and pop all the lights in order, as you would big lights, into the box. Enjoy. It's a struggle, but one has to be patient and persevere. Boom, there's our cute little lights. I'm super pleased with how they've turned out. Just the fact that somebody gave me these little lights and I just wanted to make them in all their glory. Year after year, pulling them out, and there they are. So cute. And let's just tidy them up a little bit. You can use tweezers and make them look a little bit more fancier. Perhaps you're going to keep them in the box forever and never bring them out. So that's when you'll really concentrate on putting them in best. And there they are with the lid. Oh, so cute. What do you think, guys? If you've enjoyed this tutorial and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe and leave a comment.